as a mysterious and troubling event began to unfold. One by one, the virgins of Umudike found themselves pregnant, their honor tarnished, and their families disgraced. Whispers and accusations began to circulate, and all eyes turned to Prince Uchechukwu. His reputation as a charming young man made him the prime suspect. Once upon a time, in the heart of the African savannah, there was a kingdom known as Umudike. It was a land of great beauty with large forests, flowing rivers, and fertile lands. The kingdom was ruled by a wise and just king, King Obiora, who was loved and respected by his people. King Obiora had a son, Prince Uchechukwu, who was known for his striking looks, charm, and bravery. Prince Uchechukwu's handsomeness and charm made him irresistible to many of the young women in the village. He was the pride of his father, King Obiora, and the envy of many young men in the village. Uchechukwu was the heir apparent to the throne of Umudike Kingdom, a land known for its fertile soil and rich traditions. The village of Umudike was governed by ancient customs and rituals, which included a revered tradition of preserving the purity of the village young maidens until their marriage. This was a sacred duty respected by all. But as Prince Uchechukwu grew into manhood, an unsettling prophecy began to haunt the village elders. The prophecy spoke of a prince whose action would lead to great commotion. When the moon turns red and the stars align, the prince shall father 100 children with the virgins of the land, and his kingdom will be left in sorrows and despair. But Prince Uchechukwu was unaware of this prophecy. Despite his royal duties, Prince Uchechukwu had a liking for adventure and mischief. His charisma made him irresistible, and he often found himself in the company of kingdom's most beautiful maidens. However, this carefree lifestyle soon led to unintended consequences. One evening, during a grand festival celebrating the yam harvest, Prince Uchechukwu noticed a strange woman standing by a fire. Her eyes were sharp, and her presence was both enchanting and discouraging. She approached him, her voice as smooth as silk. "Prince Uchechukwu, I see your future, and it is covered in complications," she whispered. Uchechukwu, interested but skeptical, laughed it off. "I am the future king of Umudike. What complications could possibly await me?" The woman smiled mysteriously. "Beware of the choices you make, for they will shape not only your destiny, but the fate of this entire kingdom." Weeks turned into months, and the mysterious encounter faded from Uchechukwu's memory. As Prince Uchechukwu reached the age of marriage, the prince was expected to marry and have children to secure the royal lineage. The villagers eagerly anticipated his choice of a bride. The young virgin maidens of Umudike, all hoping to catch his eye, adorned themselves in their finest attire and showcased their best talent. He was expected to marry one of the virgins that were chosen for him per their custom. The virgin maidens were to visit him in the royal palace one by one for him to get to know them better. However, a dark shadow loomed over the village as a mysterious and troubling event began to unfold. One by one, the virgins of Umudike found themselves pregnant, their honor tarnished, and their families disgraced. Whispers and accusations began to circulate, and all eyes turned to Prince Uchechukwu. His reputation as a charming young man made him the prime suspect. Whispers and rumors spread like wildfire. How could this happen? Who was responsible? The village elders gathered, and all evidence pointed towards the prince. Prince Uchechukwu, who had always been close to the maidens, now faced the anger of the entire village. He seriously denied the accusations, but his protest fell on deaf ears because all the virgins claimed they were pregnant for the prince. The council of elders gathered, and King Obiora, with a heavy heart, summoned his son. Uchechukwu, the people believe you are responsible for dishonoring their daughters. You must prove your innocence or face the consequences. King Obiora, though heartbroken by his son's behavior, understood the gravity of the situation. He called a grand meeting in the palace courtyard, summoning all the villagers, the pregnant maiden, and Prince Uchechukwu himself. The air was thick with tension as the king addressed the assembly.
My people,
King Obiora began, his voice resonating with authority.
we have gathered here today to address a grave matter. My son, Prince Uchechukwu, has acted with great irresponsibility and has dishonored many of our young women. As a king, it is my duty to ensure justice is served.
The crowd murmured in agreement, their eyes fixed on the prince, who stood with his head bowed in shame. King Obiora continued,
To restore honor and justice, Prince Uchechukwu must take responsibility for his action. He will marry all the maidens he has impregnated and care for their children as his own.
Prince Uchechukwu, shocked and hurt by the accusations, swore his innocence. Father, I have not laid with any of the virgins. I am being falsely accused. The elders, led by Chief Obinna, unconvinced, demanded that Uchechukwu take responsibility for his actions. They declared that the only way to restore honor and protect the future of their unborn children was for him to marry all the pregnant virgins. The prince, though stricken with disbelief and confusion, had no choice but to comply. Even though he knew he was innocent, he was determined to uncover the truth as preparation for the mass wedding began and the village was busy with activity. The kingdom prepared for a series of unprecedented weddings, the likes of which had never been seen before. The once celebrated prince now bowed the way of a tremendous scandal. As the wedding day approached, Prince Uchechukwu couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Determined to uncover the truth, he sought the help of his childhood friend, Nneka, who was known for her keen intuition and sharp mind. We must find the real culprit, Nneka. I cannot marry all these women for a crime I did not commit. Nneka, loyal and resourceful, began her investigation. She suggested they start by speaking to the pregnant women individually. Each told a similar story. The handsome prince visited them in the night and seduced them with sweet words and promise of marriage, and making them the queen of the land. She spoke to all the pregnant virgins and noticed this strange pattern. Each maiden described their encounter with the prince in a similar, almost rehearsed manner. Sensing a conspiracy, Nneka searched deeper. Uncovering a web of deceit that led her to the royal palace. One night, Nneka had a plan. She suggested that they set a trap by spreading a rumor that Prince Uchechukwu would be visiting a specific virgin that night. They hoped the real perpetrator would take the bait. As darkness fell, they hid near the young woman's hut. Hours passed in tense silence. Just as they were about to give up, a shadowy figure approached the hut. The figure covered his face, and under the moonlight, they saw him slip inside. Prince Uchechukwu and Nneka burst into the hut, seizing the intruder. They tore off what was covering his face to reveal the face that looked just like the prince. They were shocked to see someone with a striking resemblance like the prince. This made the prince wonder if he was a twin. The mysterious man, realizing he was caught, began to laugh crazily. "You fools! It was too easy to frame the prince. I wanted a tune, and this was my way to achieve it." Cornered and desperate, he attempted to run, but was instantly captured by the palace guard and dragged to the royal palace. When they got there, everyone was surprised to see the prince look alike, and a blow of shock and relief echoed through the palace. He was then beaten and asked to confess and to tell them who he was. That was when they realized that the mysterious man was his stepbrother. It happened that the king married a second wife called Ugomma after the death of the first wife, Prince Uchechukwu's mother. Queen Ugomma was a woman of striking beauty and cunning behavior who secretly harbored feelings for one of the village elders. In a moment of weakness, they gave in to their forbidden desire and slept with each other. When their affair was discovered, the punishment was served, and it was severe and instant. Queen Ugomma and the elder was banished from the kingdom and sent back to her father's house in disgrace. No one knew that Queen Ugomma was pregnant, not with the elder's child, but with the king's. Before her banishment, years passed, and Queen Ugomma gave birth to a baby boy named Chibuzo. As he grew, it became evident that he had a striking resemblance to his half-brother, Prince Uchechukwu. Queen Ugomma, concerned and consumed by bitterness and ambition, raised Chibuzo with one goal in mind: to seize Prince Uchechukwu and claim the throne. She whispered tales of deceit and vengeance into his ears, molding him into a weapon of her revenge. On his 21st birthday, Queen Ugomma revealed her plan to Chibuzo. He was to disguise himself as Prince Uchechukwu and tarnish his elder brother's reputation. The plan was set into motion, and Chibuzo, with his uncanny resemblance to Prince Uchechukwu, infiltrated the village. He used sweet words and deceived them with the promise of marrying them. Seduced and slept with all the virgins that were chosen for the prince, who fell for his tricks. He often used his position and allure to seduced the virgins in the village, promising them love and loyalty. One by one, the village virgins fell under his spell, and before long, many of them found themselves pregnant. The real prince, who was not aware of his doppelganger's actions, found himself surrounded by accusations and growing mistrust. Even though Queen Ugomma and Chibuzo thought their plans seemed to have been succeeding, but fate had other plans when Chibuzo got caught. The elders, realizing the deception, ordered Chibuzo to be thrown into prison and to face the consequences. Queen Ugomma, who was watching from the shadow of the crowd, tried to run, but was quickly captured. Before the assembled kingdom, Queen Ugomma and Chibuzo confessed their plots. Queen Ugomma once again faced banishment, but this time the punishment extended to her son and the virgin maidens who dishonored themselves and fell for Chibuzo tricks just to become queens. They were exiled to a distant land, never to return. Prince Uchechukwu, declared innocent, reclaimed his honor and the love of his people. He vowed to protect his people from such treachery in the future. Prince Uchechukwu, now free to choose his bride, asked Nneka to marry him. She was a virgin who wasn't chosen to contest with the other virgins to become a queen. Having realized her unwavering loyalty and sharp mind were the qualities he admired most. Their wedding was a grand celebration, symbolizing the triumph of truth and justice. The village of Umudike thrived under Prince Uchechukwu's wise and fair rule, with Nneka by his side. The elders now realized that the prophecy had come to pass, but was rather for the second prince instead of the first prince. They thought the prophecy. In the end, the kingdom learned a valuable lesson about loyalty, trust, and the destructive power of vengeance. Prince Uchechukwu, wiser and more humble, ruled with a just hand, ensuring that his kingdom prospered in peace and harmony. And though shadows of the past lingered, they serve as a reminder that true power lay not in deceit, but in the strength of character and the bond of trust. Kindly let me know where you are watching me from. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more cultural tales from the heart of Africa. Thank you for watching.